You get rid of HNT and you get Nick. Clan Jade Falcon, one of the top 3 clans in terms of strength and size, I would say, is famously known for their love of birds. If the name weren't obvious enough, then you will only have to look at their equipment. Most of them have bird-like motifs. Wings are the most common trait among many of their war machines. If not wings, then it's the sharp, beak-like heads, the DG2 grade legs, the avian-based paint schemes, or simply just the name of the model. The mech we're discussing today doesn't really tick any of those boxes. In fact, it has a rather funny name, I find. The mech in question is the Knight. Now, it's either the Geyer or the, Gur. Is it? How do you say this? Like, the Lyran is, Y. But I know I call them, Lyrans, but then the Scottish lady in Mech Warrior 5, I'm pretty sure she says Lyran, so I don't know. Have I been saying it wrong this whole time? But I mean, at the same time, you don't really say, R-E-A-L-L-Y. You don't say that rely, do you? I mean, then again, rely is a word though. R-E-L-Y. How does Y work in this English? I'm confused. Is this word, is gur an English word? What is a gur? Hold on. All right, gur, gyro circle. Oh, falcon. There you go. Gur falcon. It's a bird. How do you say it though? It doesn't show how to say. Ah, there you go. How to pronounce gur falcon? Fuck off, Toshiba. Jeer falcon. Niger. The country, the funny name. The Niger first made its appearance following the Year of Peace. Jade Falcon scientists created as a testbed for new technologies for the anticipated Ill-Clan trial when they reached Earth. This, of course, was before Tukait happened, which completely erased that goal, for a full century at least. Now, if you allow me a bit of speculation, I think the Niger was also an application of knowledge. Knowledge they gained after experiencing how Innisphere forces fight firsthand. But yet again, this was before the Innisphere was trained by the Wolf Dragoons. But all of that probably didn't mean that much because the Innisphere forces they first fought were not the same one that they fought when they came back, because they know how clan tactics work now. However, regardless, it turned out that while the technologies tested were technically superior, especially in their heat sinks, which we'll discuss later, the performances weren't huge leaps of conventional designs and technologies that justified the increase in complexity and cost. So the mech was fitted with standard technologies and became just another mech model, one of many within the Jade Falcon arsenal. The mech is an Omni-mech. The prime model of the Niger has a maximum tonnage of 75 tons, courtesy of its JF7 light endo steel chassis, placing it in the heavy category. It was able to run at a maximum of 64 km per hour and jump 120 meters, with its 300 JF extra light engine and 4 JF standard jump jets fixed in its legs. It is armed with a pod of 2 ERPPCs on the left arm for long-range engagements, and a pod of an Ultra AC-10 on the right for medium to close, which is also backed up with 3 medium pulses. Targeting these weapons is the Iron Hole Mark II computer, and the mech warriors inside communicate with each other using the JF-3048 Series 2 radio system. All of these are protected with 11 tons of compound JF ferrofibrous armor, and when it comes to cooling, it has a base of 12 double heat sinks, with 6 modular ones installed in pods. But originally, it was supposed to be fitted with something called laser heatsink. Now, what is a laser heatsink and how does it function? Well, normal heatsinks are basically just radiators that you would see in your car, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it functions somewhat the same, I guess. It uses a combination of coolants and, air to cool down a mech. Laser heatsinks, however, they I'm just gonna read the description verbatim. Ahem! Unlike a normal heatsink, which uses radiators and heat conductive fluids to cool a mech, a laser heatsink uses lasers to excite the hot exhaust gases to a higher energy state, converting the infrared energy of the gases to light, which is then shunted out of the mech via a series of highly polished surfaces. The resulting light show is highly visible and distinctive, which, while a serious drawback during covert operations, isn't really of much consequence under the traditional tenets of planned warfare. So, using lasers, right, they were somehow able to turn these gases into light, which is apparently a real thing. Like, we can apparently do that using lasers. We can turn heat into light or something like that, which is kind of pretty cool. But yeah, basically, the hotter your mech is, the brighter it glows, right? It's a walking light show, right? I think it's depicted here in the picture here, because you can see on the shoulders there, right? It's like these spiky bits. I think that's supposed to be like light emitting. So there's that. Advantages of the laser heatsink over standard ones are that it has a lower chance of blowing up ammunition, right? Because you don't have pipes or cables, not cables, what's the other word? Piping and tubing of, you know, hot liquid and gases is sneaking around inside your mech, you know, going through all the sensitive parts, which would then potentially blow up because those things are hot. When you're using lasers, you don't really need that, because I guess they're all like, all these gases are contained to one chamber and then you shoot lasers in it. I don't know. But in tabletop, when it comes to cook-off rolls, right, if you overheat it and you know you need to roll to make sure you don't blow up, you get a +1 bonus, so to the the blow up number. So that's good. But if you have to fight at night, however, and you're hot, you have heat, you're hot, you're bright, then the shooter will get a -1 bonus to hit you, because you are literally a walking disco ball. But back to lore, the performance of these laser heatsinks was about the same as clan double heatsinks. The increasing complexity and cost just does not justify them, so they just stuck with what already works that was also cheaper. That being said though, for some reason, this mech is still hard to maintain. The TRO did mention something about proprietary parts, so maybe this is like, you know, this is just this is representing that, I guess. Alright, again, the Niger is an Omni-Mech, right? An Omni-Mech is like a modular type of mech where the weapons, not just weapons, you know, some equipment, they are housed inside these pods, and these pods are like, you know, they're kind of like plug and play. You can just kind of pull one out and just shove another one in, and it just works. Yeah, you don't have to recalibrate everything. It just works, in the words of Tom Howard, our Lord and Savior. They don't have variants, they have configurations instead, right? Like, for variants, you know, each variant is different, but for Omni-Mechs, the base design remains the same, like the armor remains the same. You got the base heatsink, this one has 12, right? That remains the same. And, you know, the endo steel chassis, everything remains the same, right? The only thing that's changed is like the equipment in the pods. They change it based on the situation that they are going to be in soon in combat, right? But anyway, with that out of the way, let's start with the A. The A configuration, or the close range configuration, swaps the Ultra AC-10 for an Ultra 20. The PPCs were changed for large pulse, 2 Streak SRM-6s were installed, and the medium pulses were rearranged. Due to the increase in number of weapons and their size, only 4 modular heatsinks were able to be installed, giving the A total of 16 heatsinks. On to the B, which I would call the sniping loadout. This configuration is only armed with 2 weapon types, 2 Gauss rifles and 2 LBX-2s. No extra heatsinks were needed because the heat output in this one is extremely low. The C is another sniper's config, but it relies more on energy weapons. It carries 3 Ultra AC-2s, 2 ER larges, and 2 ER mediums, which are linked to a separate targeting computer. They managed to fit 6 extra heatsinks, rolling up to 18. The D is the missile configuration, and it carries a whopping 4 Artemis LRM-20s. That's 80 missiles. That's a lot of missiles, with a large and a medium pulse laser. Heat output is extremely high, but due to the 4 LRM-20s, they were unable to fit any extra heat sinks. You gotta be careful when you Alpha Strike this one so you don't blow up, which you 100% can and probably will. The E config turns the dial down a bit, right? This one's rather simple comparative to the last one at least. Simple close range energy loadout. It carries 2 large pulses, 6 medium pulses, an SRM-6 launcher, and an ATM-6 launcher. It carries the same number of heat sinks as the C at 18. The F config, which I can only describe it as a Uber sniper, I would say, carries 2 HAGs, a HAG 20, HAG 30, linked to a separate targeting computer. It also has 2 ER mediums for backup and carries an ECM. No additional heat sinks were installed. The G is more of a sniping flanker, a flanking sniper, one of those two, I don't know. A very dangerous one, I would say. The engine is boosted with a supercharger, allowing it to travel at 86 km per hour in short bursts. But once it gets behind you, it will blast you to pieces with its 2 ER PPCs, each armed with a capacitor, and 2 LBX-5s. Once your armor is destroyed, it will then proceed to cook you alive with 3 ER flamers. In light of all the energy weapons, 4 extra heat sinks were needed. Up next is the H, which simply just mounts a heavy laser, Gauss rifle, an Ultra AC-10, a medium pulse, and ECM. The 5 additional heat sinks allowed it to Alpha Strike all the time without needing to worry about overheating. The T comes next, and it's a bit of a mixed bag, right? It has 2 ER PPCs for long range, an LBX-20 for close range, and 3 medium pulses for, well, medium range, I guess. 5 more heat sinks were installed, but they are nowhere near enough to cool everything down in an Alpha Strike. Finally, there is the X, another long-range configuration. It carries 2 rotary AC-5s, 2 Streak LRM-10s with its ammo store in case 2, and a micro pulse laser. Star Captain Nicholas Ikaza piloted one of these. A product of 2 highly regarded Jade Falcon genes, he was a rising star before Clan Wolf stole him. But then Jade Falcon stole him back in a trial possession, which he didn't even try to fight in, as he just surrendered. He just shut his mag down and surrendered, as he wanted to go back to his original clan. After rejoining his original clan, he was put through a trial of blood right, so that he could actually carry the Ikaza name. There, he faced elementals, because the Ikaza name is usually given to elementals, so he fought the rest of his blood relatives, I guess. Oh, but I forgot what the term is. There is a term. Blood name relatives, they were all mostly using elementals, so he fought them to join their ranks, I suppose. He fought them with his X configuration night gear, which only had the micro pulse activated, so he could only use the micro pulse. But regardless of that, he still won, and now he's an Ikaza now. So good on him. The Niger may have supposed to just have been a testing platform for new technologies, or at the very least, a limited use battle mech for elite forces. But since the new technology did not turn out as expected, and they've already invested time and resources into the mech, instead of just scrapping design, which is a waste, I would say, Clan Jade Falcon instead incorporated the standard equipment and started fielding them in their larger Toman. They were first seen in limited numbers during the Battle of Tukaid and then later the Refusal War. The Niger became more common afterwards during the rebuilding period, and even started to appear in some other clans like Smoke Jaguar, Goliath Scorpions, and Star Adder. But the mech almost faced extinction, in its sphere at least, during the Wars of Reaving, where a faction of clanners carried out a purges on what they deemed tainted clans. So this is mostly the clans that went to the Innisphere. Jade Falcon was hit hard by this and was actually driven out. They were exiled out of the clan homeworlds. But fortunately, enough of their scientists and engineers survived, and later in 3144, they retooled a factory on Alyena and continued the production of the Niger. And there we go, our first mech after the bug series. I'm stretching if I sound weird. Oh my god. You know what, the only reason I chose this mech was because I had a funny name. That, and also, I thought this was another mech. I thought this was like a... I forgot what it's called, but I'm pretty sure there's a mech. It has like a skull face. It's not an Atlas. I think it's a light. It's either a light or medium. It has a skull face and it's like a fast boy, but I forgot what it's called. I thought it was in MechWarrior 4. Maybe it's still in MechWarrior 4 and I didn't really look properly. But yeah, I look at Sora and I didn't really see it. Again, maybe just didn't look properly. But I'm pretty sure there's a mech with a skull head. That's not the Atlas. That's like, oh, is it the Wraith? Oh, wait. Let me look this up. Might be the Wraith actually. It just clicked me. It just clicked my brain. Is it the Wraith? No. The Wraith is the funny. The Wraith is the funny. Look at me. I am strong, mech. Well, I do not know what it is. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a mech with a skull face that's like a light, fast boy. A Mech Warrior 4. But, well, I can't seem to find it anywhere. Either that, or I dream of that thing, and this is something my brain made up, because I can't find it anywhere. Well, maybe I did. What do you call that? Maybe I did conjure this out of my brain. Whatever, right? Anyway, that's the end of this week's briefing, pilots. Thanks for joining, my fellow Jovians. If you'd like to see this or any more of my other videos, which, you know, I do make overviews. I do just right now I'm doing like a Capellan Confederation, like a documentary series of the entire history. And I also do Gundam stuff. If you'd like to see more of that, also I stream as well. I stream my my game. I mean my training sessions. I trained my pilots kind of, and you know I stream them so you guys can learn, right? So we all can learn so we can be better pilots. So we can fight those Earthnoids. Fucking Earthnoids. Anyway, yeah. If you'd like to see more of that, either the streams or any of the lore videos, do click the sub button. Join the fleet. I need more pilots. We need more pilots, right? We need to invade Earth, right? That's a requirement. That's our dream. Invade Earth. Teach them a lesson. Teach them to bully us. Yes. Fuck them. Right? Destroy Earth. Anyway, if you're not willing to join the fleet, because you know the military life is a very spooky life, right? No doubt about that. Then you could just leave a like or leave a comment. Or I think if you're on the phone, I think mostly in America, in the US at least, I think there's a button if you watch on your phone. I think there's a button called the hype button. I think you can click that. I think that will also tell the algorithm that hey, this video is good. You should watch it. I think I could be wrong. I saw something about it like recently, but I haven't actually seen it on my phone myself. So maybe it's not available in Jupiter here yet. Which is, look at this, huh? Look at this elitism. Only Earth people get it. See, this is why we don't like Earth. Fuck them. Right? If you're not willing to join the military, pussy, go do all that 3. Anyway, other than that, that's the Discord. Yes, my personal graveyard, I'd like to call it. That's where we Jovins are able to communicate each other while we're off doing our own missions and whatever, right? I mostly post memes there. But if you have any questions, you can shoot on over. Yeah, I'm there most of the time. Actually, I'm there all the time. I pay attention to it, even though there's no activity. I pay attention to it. Glory to the Jupiter colony. Glory to my fellow Jovians and the entire fleet. Keep up the good fight. Fuck those Earthnoids. Kill them. But remember, while you do fight them, take care. And as always, the biggest rule ever while you fight these Earthnoids is do not die.